I've always been a unique person, you know what I mean? Sort of laid back in a way, but very adamant and very passionate about what I believe. I think a lot of times that sort of throws people off because they don't expect me to have the mindset or the process of thought that I do. And so when you come in to watch my channel, you may hear a myriad of thoughts and ideas that could be different from others. What I want you to do is just sit back, like, share, and subscribe. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart perspective.
Hello, 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 and welcome to tonight's show. I have so much joy and love to give to all of you guys for everything that you guys have done for me over the past several years. Tonight's stream is not really going to be long, and let me tell you why. Because I'm absolutely overcome, and I have been since Black Spring and I got when I got the notification. I was on the phone with her. And I was literally silent for a few minutes, which is very impossible to believe. But oh, you look beautiful tonight, Black Spring. Loving the bebop.
You are most generous.
So I was a little, I was a little overwhelmed and overcome with joy because for 6 years I've had this channel, and I, for some time, was very ashamed to speak again in public because of suffering with the Bell's palsy and all that stuff for so long, and then the other health challenges and issues that went along with it. And so I was a little reluctant to move forward because everything that I had done prior to that, excuse me, was the past, right? And so I wasn't doing any of those things again. It took me a while to teach myself how to speak well again, as well as I can. It took me a good while to sing again. And there was a lot of things. And so to be on this platform, I sort of always wanted to have an avatar. And the reason why was because when I get skinesis and my face begins to do things on its own, or if I'm sleepy or tired, you can generally see it. And so I was really just sort of reluctant. But I was prompted by someone who basically said, hey, listen, you know what? Don't worry about that. Just move on, go forward and see how things work, because, we really do need different voices out there. And so about a couple of years ago, maybe like the end of last year, I think is when I really started to aggressively upload and, aggressively do what I like. And then all of a sudden I found all these awesome people that have come that I literally see that we need each other. I see my purpose in their lives and I see their purpose in my life. I hope that makes sense. But with that said, having health challenges and going through different things and all this other stuff is sort of get you to the place where you just don't know how you will be received. But I want to tell you all, thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart for having an open heart to me, to showing me love, to giving me great things to laugh at, to giving me outstanding things to research and to look up. I have met some unbelievable people, and I am so grateful that I did not retreat, that I advanced forward. And Black Spring, I want to tell you what a blessing you are to me. You are outstanding. I just want to tell you thank you so much for just pressing to be here. I mean, you really do look Parisian. What's going on with you, sister? Where are you going?
Well, I have to say I'm a little bit biased. Have a bit of a high affinity for, what can I say? French culture. What can I say? I mean, but I like hats, so it's fun, and what can you do? To spice things up, to add some fun where available. It's fun. It's clean fun, right?
Yeah, it is clean fun. I want to read some of the comments. We've got a lot of comments so far. We're going to start up from the beginning. And what I'm going to say, first of all, is hello to, Sergeant Eagle. It's a Saturday night used to be funny and entertaining a long time ago. Seems they have turned into nothing but ideological idiots. Far from entertainment. Okay, well, we appreciate you for being here, and I hope that the mods make you feel really, really good right about now. Thank you so much. And then I see that we also have someone here coming into the show that was also very instrumental. They're doing something there. TR,
Who's here?
What the hell got going?
Oh, wow.
Going on. Look like they're trying to get themselves together, and I'm sorry. He's like, okay, let me fix this. Let me fix that. But with that said, I just want to say, so that was that person's perspective. And then Disabled Vet, you were very instrumental as well in the very beginning because you actually had me on your show. He said, it's a party. Are we supposed to bring gag gifts? I don't know. But thank you for being here. And like I said, Disabled Vet is an awesome person. I was on his show last year sometime, and it was just really a blessing to be there with both he and Lee Red Nation, who, as you guys know, is my blood brother. I got to make sure I say that because there's a lot of people that you call your brother. And a lot of people are your brother, especially those who are in the same body with us. And so Lee and I were on a show that Mr. Disabled Vet's Perspective hosted, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad that I met him. I'm so elated to have met you. So thank you, kind sir. I pray for you and your wife, and I hope that all is well for both of you. Going down the line here, I see we have a beautiful. Oh, okay. All right. Look here. Look how we got Chewbacca with a gun. Voyager 1776. I love it. Okay. And let's see, David. Boo, LOL. I love David Harris. He is from Down Under. I appreciate you so much for being here. And you are one of my old schools. You are one of my OGs. There are several people who have been here with us since the very beginning. And I care about all of you guys identical. I did, of course, make sure to give all of my mod squads a shout out. And I gave all my folks who've been here for a long time with me a shout out as well. Vigilant One, is that Valiant One? I'm sorry. At everyone here, brothers and sisters, that's absolutely right. And then let's see. We've got Rachel. Man, Rachel, you've been throwing down lately with some information. And I don't know what to tell you, but yikes, girl, you are something else. And Aaron Jacobs, how are you? How are you, Aaron? It's so good to see you. And shalom to you as well, my brother. Let's see. We've got Teresa. Hi. Teresa says, hi, Black Spring. Everybody loves Black Spring. Ronnie Mann. Ronnie Mann says, is there a party? What does he say? Party. Who spiked the punch? We spiked it with ginger ale. Because you don't want to see me with nothing else. God bless America, not blushing. He's not blushing. That's Florida suntan. Okay. And then we also have SF Rose. Hey, sis, how you doing tonight? I just love you. You are so awesome. I appreciate you and your husband so much. I'm going to bring them into this stream right quick. I'm going to pull out my sister. Is that okay with you, Black Spring? Absolutely. And I'm going to pull them in. And then we'll let them come on in. Hello, folks. How are you? Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We so appreciate the two of you. The TR show and SF Rose are here with us tonight. And I just want to tell you, we love you. And you guys, you didn't even know me. And one day I came into your stream and you said, hey, let's see what this lady's got going on her channel. And I really, believe it or not, the day that you did this, I was pretty down. And all of a sudden, TR, you were obedient to the Holy Spirit. And you literally went to my channel, and I got a lot of people that came over and who are still here with me right now today. And I just want to thank you for being obedient. We have made it now to the 4,000 hour mark here on the channel. After, like I said, 6 years of being here and not really being vigilant as I should have been because of fears or whatnot, but we put that in the garbage can. And now we're here. So I just want to personally thank you so much for what you all have done for my channel. God bless you both. What do you want to say? We ought to say anything? We got all your peeps are here tonight.
Okay, I want to say greetings to the chat and to you, host, wonderful lady. You have been a center of joy, I would say. You have been surrounded by the Holy Spirit, as you would say as well. And you have become so attractive with the love that you have coming from your inner self, or should I say your higher self. I have always liked to listen to you speak. You know, your ways of coming off very intellectual has been very attractive when it comes on to me. I've always liked your perspective because you follow a leading. And unlike some people who are traveling and without direction, so they don't know where they are really going, and so they get lost so many times, but they don't know that they're lost because they don't know where they're going anyway. So you are somebody who seem to know where you're going, you know where you're coming from, and so if you should ever slip, you know exactly what to do to get back right on track. I want to say we love you. We like what you do, and we are here for you always to support you in your endeavors, whatever you do on this journey. Right beside me is SF Rose, and as much as I could speak for her, she's quite a talker, so I'd like her to speak for herself, even though I could do it. So I want to take the time out to say greetings to those who have been on panel before. Black Spring with Autumn was the one who I caught when I came in. I want to say greetings to those in the chat. I saw Derrick C. Williams saying hello. I saw Rachel and some other people. If I don't get to say your name, please forgive me. I am not seeing the chat clearly. So forgive me if I didn't call your name. I want to say thanks to those who have been supportive to me and my channel as well SF Rose. You have been truly a diamond, a pearl, a gem on our journey, and we are happy to say that we are friends, or we are at least acquaintances. You know, we are happy to have you on board on this journey to success, because we aren't going to stop here. Whatever you see now, and if you think that is successful, that is not where we are going, and we ain't stopping anytime soon. We're going all the way to the top. Okay, so I will just take a break now, because you know, if I keep talking, I'll be here talking tomorrow, because I'm at a place where there is a fantastic lady with a beautiful voice and an inspirational and motivational background who I love to be around. So let me just step aside a little bit and give my friend SF Rose to Derrick C. Williams. She gives the best hugs on earth. So SF Rose, would you like to say hello to anybody? Oh, as I was saying, sorry. Go right ahead.
Oh, I thought Derrick was coming on. So I want to say congratulations to you, the Lockhart perspective. What I will say, TR's definitely seen more of you than I have. But me behind the scenes, I hear more of you. I might not be in your chat, but when he has it playing, I'm definitely listening. And I don't think that there's ever been a time that I've ever disagreed with your perspective, whether it, you know, an opinion, a point you're bringing across. I know that you've come on panel with TR, and you've been on point, in my opinion, on point. Anytime you've said anything on the panel, it's always been something that I could never disagree with what you were saying. Just very smart, just clean with your thoughts. And we always play the little game of how many times can I say because I guess I'm nervous in front of the camera. So anyway, congratulations to your 4,000 hours. And hello to everybody in the chat. Hello to Rachel. Hello to Derrick C. Williams, me friend. And everybody else in the chat. Black Spring with Autumn, hello to you. And I guess it's now just the beginning for you, the Lockhart perspective. You know, you got your hours, celebrate, and continue putting out great content and continue motivating people with everything that you say and do. And thank you for having me, and thank you for having TR, and thank you for having us.
You guys are so sweet and so beautiful. You know, I love. That is the one thing that I've always had, possibly to my detriment, but I love. And when I see couples who are working toward being as whole as you guys are, it's just a blessing. Nothing is ever perfect, but what I will say is I love your personalities together. I love the way that you complement one another. Whenever I come into your show, I try to make sure that I speak to both of you at the same time because I see you as one. So I just want to thank you guys for coming on. And I hope you don't leave. I hope you all stay around. I hope you play that beautiful guitar. That's what I'm really trying to take myself off the screen so you have the opportunity. Thank you so very much. I love acoustic guitar. I love acoustic piano. All the electric stuff is awesome, but there's just something that makes you want to sit around a campfire or a fireplace. You know, if you've been fishing all day or something and just the family together, those are the things from the days of old that we can just, praise our Father without anybody else. We don't need anything else but the gift that he gave us, whether it's our voice, whether it's the guitar like you have, whether it's like Ronnie Mann, who has like a whole ensemble. He can do it all, who did the theme song for the show now. But I just want to thank you so very much. I'm really overwhelmed. I really would love if somebody else would talk because, because you guys just don't know how, well, yes, I do know, you guys do know, because this is more of an effort and work. I really don't even want, I told my brother, I said, all I want is the perks, because I don't want to be able to have anybody say what I can't say, even though I know they can still get at me anyway. My feeling was just give me the perks. Like if I can go live on my phone now, I like that. I didn't really want a lot of other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just happy and thankful and grateful for all of you. I don't know. I think I may have to pass it on over to Ronnie. I know he's not here, or just give the show to TR for now, or maybe have you and Derrick do it or something. Because when I say overwhelmed, I am very, very, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I don't have any other words besides grateful. And so I just want to thank you guys. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on right now in the world that we could choose to talk about. We could choose to focus on a lot of the things, from the candy bars, we call it here on the channel. We could talk about, that's the little thing that you get in your arm. That's what we call it here, the candy bar. We could choose to talk about that. We could choose to talk about what's going to happen on the 14th of this coming week. We could choose to talk about a lot of those things, but I believe that our lives are so well hidden in Christ that we don't even need to focus on that stuff anymore. What we can do is we can definitely talk about some of the things and how we can fix the situation for our families and for ourselves, come up with great ideas, come up with wonderful ways for us to be able to make it through. Look at the signs that we see, whether it be in the signs of the stars of the sky, because the Father did tell us that what is going on up above us is what he gave us for times and seasons. And if we remember that, then we will understand a few things that are important. One thing specific is going to be on the 21st of this month. And I just want to let you guys know, make sure that you are understanding what's going on with the solstice this coming month. Very important as it relates to what we have going on, and as it relates to our Father. Okay, it's very important that we do not allow the world to take that time frame. They got it all over the news. Oh, Saturn and Jupiter and all this other stuff. They're all over it, but we need to be all over it too, and we need to know exactly how it ties in with our Father. So with that said, I am going to LOL candy bars. Yes, Rachel, you know that's what we call it, candy bars. We call it the candy bars so that we don't get in no trouble. Ain't that a shame? We got to say candy bars. And some special meteors tonight over there where they are. David Harris, SF Rose, he is in Australia. That is where he is. He's in Australia. And so he gets to see a lot of all kinds of cosmic things, beautiful things going on in the sky, honestly. I think that we get so caught up that we think that God's handiwork is only here with the beauty that he has created. We have such a conceited mindset, almost where we are very vain, where we think it's only here that he moves. No, he is the God of this universe. And so he will give us beautiful light shows. Sometimes you'll see almost awesome things. But the thing we need to remember is what the book of Genesis told us as it relates to those things. I'm not going to say a lot about what's going to happen on December 21st. But what I will say is that it is very important that we look at what it is, study the word, and remember some of the dates that we talked about this past week when we were talking about the Passover, when we were talking about all the feasts and all that stuff. Something very significant. If you can see it, the Most High will show it to you. He will. So, how's everything been with your show? How can we help you guys? What do you have coming up, Mr. and Mrs. TR?
All right, let me take the baton as it is passed to me. First, I would say, um, in this coming week, I'll be back fully on the TR show. I took a break to rejuvenate and to get myself together, as there has been, or there was, or there were some problems on YouTube, as it is for growth streams, and everybody knows that my stream was the heart of growth streams in the community. And when there was a problem on YouTube, when there was struggles to grow, and YouTube would take back the people when they connect because people didn't connect the right way, we just do it out of excitement. And so I was kind of looking bad because I was the home of where all of that was generated. So when people get their numbers and lose it the following day or hours later, some people blame me, and I would look bad even when I'm not doing anything wrong. So I decided to take a break, and I was actually building another channel in that break, because the reason for that is because when I go live, because most of the people come to my stream for that purpose or for that sake, then there would be problems. So I went somewhere else where there was nothing about growing. I would help who I could help when I needed to help, but my stream would not be based on growing. So I will be back on the TR show, and it is not just about growing one's channel. It has never been just about that, but some people mistakenly took my channel for just a growth stream where you grow your numbers, get your watch hours on, and all those things. But I was normally always a spiritual type of person. And so my streams were more like growtivational. So you could come to my stream, grow your numbers, get spiritual advice on how to strengthen yourself, your spiritual being, and your whatever. I would give a very good advice every now and then if you're struggling or suffering. And it was mainly about that, but people were mainly for the growing of their channels. So I took a break. So now I will be back on there. There's a couple of stuff that will change. It's not going to be hardcore growth stream, but it will be more musical. And of course, every now and then I'll be back with my motivational speeches and so forth and so on. Now, my advice to everybody is to make sure that survival is the key to your whatever you do, to your endeavors. And what I would suggest is that make sure that your ways pleases the Lord. It is mandatory for you to survive however you will, as long as your steps is ordered. As long as what you do pleases the Most High, your creator, whomever that is. I know whom I believed and who I trust, and you should know whom your grace comes from. So if you find that place and find that master and creator, then of course you should lodge your faith in such a one or person or being or source, or whatever your belief is. I'm not going to force anybody to believe what I believe. I know what I believe and in whom I believe, and I would suggest strongly that you survive by all means by pleasing your creator. All right, so that is what is to come. So you can look forward to the TR show coming up next week. SF Rose will tell you about what is coming up next for her channel. So I will just step out of the way for a little bit and let SF Rose tell you what's coming up for SF Rose and This Is Us, even though I am a part of This Is Us, but she will tell you because she is the driving force in that department. I am just kind of, following along. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. And thank you so much. I really didn't look at you as a growth stream channel. I mean, I know that you love helping people, but every time I went to your channel, it was always something the times that I was there, you were always doing inspirational talks. You were always playing music or maybe having somebody else that came on as a musical guest. And I always enjoyed it. But then all of a sudden, when it slowed down, I didn't have any clue or idea as to what was going on. I just knew that that it was, something that I was not seeing. And so, with that in mind, I just hope that everything turns out really wonderfully. I believe that it will. I believe that once you guys get everything up and running, it'll be right back to where it was, moving strong, going 100% full steam ahead. Go ahead there, sister. You go ahead and tell us what you've got going on.
I'm hoping I'm supposed to speak now because I wasn't able to hear anything that you were saying. On my end, it was very chopped up. So I'm guessing it's my turn to speak.
Oh,
so
yes, it is.
I'd like to say, I forgot to mention one thing. I want to congratulate Derrick C. Williams for his nomination as the Male Legend Content Creator. Hopefully you win. You got my vote. And anyway, so now about the month of December for my channel. So my channel is obviously SF Rose. When we go live, it's actually TR and myself, and each episode is obviously titled "This Is Us" because this is us. I had been doing Sundays. We had been doing Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and pretty much every week it was a musician who would come on and sing for about an hour to an hour and a half with some questions and answers, stuff of that nature. And last Sunday was my first Sunday since August that we did not go live. Again, I'm just going to say very briefly, haven't been feeling well. This Sunday, I will not be going live. Well, we will not be going live. I had to take certain time to try to feel better. And with that, the about 20 hours a week that I spend preparing for the Sunday night show, I had to scale back and take that for me to feel better. Just like I said, haven't been feeling well, and my health obviously comes first. So I plan to be back. We plan to be back next Sunday. If not next Sunday, the Sunday after. But besides having music, that's what I focus on every week is music. So usually like to put 1 week of trivia, one night of trivia, whether it be trivia about us or it be music trivia, movies trivia, who, what, where, when trivia. That's basically what had been happening. So sometimes I'd say like for a few weeks, I'd have a singer and then maybe give it a break and have a trivia night. I believe I'm going to have a trivia night probably next Sunday. Then a singer after that. Usually I also have a members only concert once a month, and I have a members only giveaway. So that's basically what I focus on. He joins me because that was what the people loved from the beginning. I was always behind the scenes and they wanted to see more. And when my channel got monetized, we decided to do This Is Us. We had started it on his channel, on the TR show. And then we decided to bring it over to my channel since it seems that's what people wanted. So we gave them what they wanted. And I gave Derrick C. Williams what he wanted. Derrick C. Williams didn't enjoy me just being behind the scenes. So he had some words and felt a need to push me to be live more often. And so, as I said, I'm more comfortable as a team than doing it as an individual. So I'm thankful. I'm very blessed to have somebody by my side every week when I go live to get me through. So as you had said, the Lockhart perspective, it's a lot of work, and it is. It's a job. YouTube is not as easy as it looks, and it's definitely a job. It's time consuming. You take the good, the bad, and the ugly, and not every single stream is a bed of roses, and preparing for a stream. People, when they hit the people out there who really have never gone live, you don't just hit the live button, you know, there's preparation. So thank you, Black Spring with Autumn, and thank you, Derrick. So it's really not that easy. So I taught my hat off to people like Derrick, like the Lockhart Perspective, like TR, like Black Spring with Autumn, who day in and day out, or week in and week out, get up there and are able to keep an audience. You know, it really isn't that easy. You know, someone once said to me, it's like a television, you know, you're watching a TV show, and as simple as if you don't like the TV show, you can change the channel. So it's no different than people coming on a YouTube channel. If they don't really like what you have to say, there's many other channels that they could switch to. So, you know, the Lockhart Perspective, when you get 4,000 watch hours, that means people tuned in. Derrick, people have tuned in. You know, these are monetized channels. I'm not certain yet, Black Spring with Autumn, if you're monetized. I'm going to assume if you're not, that you're probably getting closer, because you definitely have been going live. And it's not always quantity, it's quality. So you could have a live stream with 7 or 8 people in it, but if those 7 or 8 people stay with you from start to finish, you're going to actually have better analytics than the person who has 40 people in it and they stay for, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. So, like I said, it doesn't really matter if you have a huge audience. It's the quality of the audience and the loyalty of the audience. And it seems that a lot of us are blessed in this community with some good people. So, you know, that's basically where I'm at. And I'm glad that TR is going to be going back to the TR show this week. You know, like I said, just because he hasn't been on the TR show doesn't mean he hasn't been doing anything, because he's been quite busy and he's been doing quite well musically on and off YouTube, you know, with his YouTube channels and without his YouTube channels. So, you know, it's like I said, we're blessed to have great people in our corner. And I'm going to stop at this point, because this show is not about us. It's actually about the Lockhart Perspective and celebrating you and your 4,000 hours. And, you know, I applaud you. I'm not surprised that you've gotten your 4,000 watch hours. You know, I might not, like I said, be as present in a lot of people's chats, typing, but I'm listening. Just like TR says, there's many times TR will be in somebody's chat and then they think he's left, but I can be the confirmer here to say that he does support many channels, many channels.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
And
we know we can tell that you guys are such supportive people, because you give so much of yourselves on your platform. Is that choppiness still going on? I don't want you to not be able to hear me. Is that noise still going on, or can you hear me now?
No, it seems like every time when we're talking, you know, like we can talk, and then when you come back, like right now I don't hear it, but when you come back in full force, I guess, there would be a level of choppiness for, it feels like it's probably a minute, but it feels longer, because I feel bad that I can't hear what you were saying. And then it sort of would phase itself out. So I'm not sure what you said, and I don't know if the chat got to hear what you were saying, but eventually when you removed yourself from the screen, I just started talking, assuming it was my turn.
Well, I'm glad you did, because a lot of times it can be dead air. And in radio and television, I know for one thing that the first thing they told me when they just stuck me on the board years ago was, don't get any dead air. Because if you have dead air, that's over. Your career is over with dead air. So we've had some funny times here with some dead air every now and then, and it's just because it's just what it is. You know, you're dealing with electronics, and those things you cannot always dictate. But I want to thank you guys for being with us tonight. You guys take care of one another. If you want to stay around, I hope that you do. We're going to bring Black Spring on, and then we're going to get right into some news, because there are some things that we do need to discuss. Again, we do know, I know you guys know as well, that we have Derrick C. Williams is coming. So I'm going to yield to him. If you guys want to stay around, I hope that you do. Let me know what you want to do. I'm here for you. I can go ahead and put him in. You guys can hang around. And hey, that trivia, I'm going to need you to help me with that, because I don't know if we can do cahoots or some kind of trivia like that or whatever, but I would love to do a trivia on like a Wednesday night or something. Because being in my age group, I don't get to go and do a lot of things anymore, but I love trivia. Can't go to bingo, can't do things like that. So we're going to have to talk.
We were doing, when we first started it, I had done a couple on Sunday evening in the This Is Us, episodes, and Tommy Travels.
Yes.
He came on panel and hosted with us. And what I did was I actually went and bought on Amazon and in the store if I saw any kind of trivia that looked interesting. So I've got like 80s trivia, 90s trivia, the 2000 trivia. I have movie trivia. And then I gotten trivia like their cards.
Yes.
Read off the cards. He had done Kahoot. The only thing that I saw with Kahoot that I found for me personally to be, I'll call it somewhat annoying, was when everybody's internet speeds were different. So sometimes people were on to the next question, but the answers weren't coming up because maybe he was delayed.
Okay.
It was a delay issue on many people's ends. So some people, when they were finally going to answer the question, when it finally came onto their screen, TR was like on to the next question and a half. Like,
oh, wow.
There was a big delay. So people got like frustrated saying, wait, I didn't get to answer. And then you're on the next question. So I decided not to do anything like that because that would bother me personally. So I decided to go with reading. So like if I had a host come on, like when I had Tommy Travels come on, I actually typed up all the questions that I wanted him to say, and I emailed them to him. Mm-hmm. So he had a format. Mm-hmm. We had Triple Deuce Scratcher. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Yes, I am.
Okay. He also came up on the panel, and what I did was I screenshot pictures of the little mini cards that I had.
Okay.
For him, that worked well for him. So I had also ones that were who, what, and where. Mm-hmm. So if somebody won a question, I would actually ask them, what category would you like? Who, what, or where? And they would pick the category, and we would do that category. And in some of the episodes of trivia, well, I think in all of them, I decided to give away, not huge amounts, and I decided because it seemed like, some people were Googling and, so I decided not to actually pick the person who won the most, but I actually decided like to maybe ones who participated more, or for certain reasons, I picked based on how I was feeling that evening, who was going to be the recipient of the giveaway.
Well, that's a good idea. We're going to have to hook up so I can get some of that. We're going to bring our brother into the stream. We have to get some of that good stuff for over here from SF Rose so she can help us spice up our Saturday nights, Saturday Night Live.
It's fun. It's actually fun.
That's what we want.
It's refreshing.
Yes, and that's what we want. We want some refreshing things to take our minds off of all the other heaviness, but just to have a good time. We have our brother here tonight, and here he is. Brother Derrick C. Williams is with us this evening. Thank you so much for coming, kind sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy that you are here. So I understand that congratulations are in order. SF Rose just spilled the beans. She told us about this wonderful award that you are up for. And so I'm going to let you tell us some more. What's going on?
All right. Well, first off, shout out and respect due to Biloxi, Mississippi's own Felicia Lockhart of the Lockhart Perspective. It's coming up on a year that I'm becoming acquainted with. I think I think it was either February or March of 2020. So about maybe 10 months I've been,
November.
November?
November 2019. Yes. I pulled all of y'all. I pulled everybody's information. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I stand corrected. Well, the more the merrier. yeah, what it is that I am content. She wanted to salute to David Harris. Um, she came up with an idea on her own. And I guess other people have done it prior to, so I guess she just kind of like piggybacking off other people's ideas, but they would have she calls them the YouTube Love Awards, and so I'm nominated along with 5 other content creators. And my category is best male YouTube content creator. And so I thought I was actually losing, but I guess now they're telling me, because I haven't seen it. I have not seen the stats, and SF Rose have brought it to my attention. I guess I am in the lead. I don't know. I find it out. I guess when she has the awards, I believe they either tomorrow night or Wednesday. But I just try to put out content that I think is of relevance, and I know a lot of stuff that I talk about is not on the mainstream news, and it's not it doesn't go with the mainstream narrative, but that oftentimes proves to be just totally inaccurate, but that's what they give you all the time. But I just want to say, really quickly, congratulations on becoming monetized. You part of the YouTube partnership program. You probably most likely, maybe in the next month or two, you're going to get channel memberships, and when you do, I will be the first, because I'm trying to be first on the scene. I will be the first one to sign up for your membership program and things like that. And I also want to tell you, I just want to give you some quick backstory. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Take
I'm
as
better.
much as you want.
Well,
Take as
I'm
much
better
time.
at moderating. I'd like to think I'm better at moderating. But what it is that about right before I met you, just to give you some history about behind the hashtag, TR was doing a Sunday stream. I try to pride myself on my memory. He was talking about content creators that are actually talking about something, and he just kept banging the table, figuratively speaking, banging the table. Content, 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 content. And so it just hit me. I said, well, you know what? Content game. It just came to me just like that. And so another content creator from New York, who's an educator, she goes by the name of Mommy on Deck. So it was us. I just coined that phrase. And so Soldier for Job, TR9 Area X, Mommy on Deck, and then myself. And then once I met you, and I just went down your catalog and just started seeing what you were putting out. The 2-part, I think a 2 or 3-part series you did on the abuse that goes on in the church. That's really what got me interested in you. And when I start seeing all your other stuff and the way you string words together, I'm not a well-spoken dude at all, but I know well-spoken people when I hear them. The way you string words together, you and Black Spring with Autumn, I just was impressed with you. And so I said, content game, Soldier for Job, TR9 Area X, Mommy on Deck, the Lockhart perspective, and me. And for months, I don't think TR and SF Rose, they had no clue who you were. And so when you finally, but I think I was telling you, I said you should come over to TR's show and let him know what time it is, let him see you. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I have been putting in for months. Soldier for Jah, these other 3 content creators, you being one of them, and myself, and I'm quite sure he didn't know who the hell you was. He may have, but because like myself, I would assume he may have done research on you. I don't know, but he never said anything, so I don't know. But I was always pushing you. I was always like this woman is onto something. And so, like yourself, Snapzilla, Gorilla, Queen's Throne, Black Spring with Autumn, or even Dr. Bombay, these are some good, and TR as well. I just try to keep pace with y'all with regards to putting out what I believe is good content and trying to put on a well-polished show. And I try to have all my information and things like that. And so that's pretty much where we are. So I'm just glad to be connected with you, Felicia. And I think you're a hell of a content creator, a hell of a human being. I'm just glad to be in your sphere, man. So that's pretty much all I want to say.
Well, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm glad that you have been an inspiration to myself. I know to Black Spring. She and I, because of
Really?
you, have become, oh yes, she and I, because of you, have become very close. We're like sisters. I love her so much. and it's because of you creating this bond of friendship between us and embracing us. And it was just almost a natural progression that we would become friends. I check on her, she checks on me, we talk to one another, and it's because of the glue that you put with us. And I just want to thank you so much for your encouragement. There were times where I was like, you know what? I don't know if I could keep going. And you were like, you better keep going. I don't know what's the problem with you, lady, but you got to keep going. And I'm paraphrasing there, but I'm glad that you encouraged me to continue. I'm glad that you challenged me because you do come up with some off the chain stories. Ironically, though, you and I will be right there on the same wavelength, which is important, which shows that we all are a part of the same, because you'll send me something, I'll be like, man, and then I'll be like, I was just about to upload, and then I just won't upload it. I'm like, because I defer to the way that you deliver. But I think the best part about it is that's what makes the world go around, when you can be with like-minded people and you can see that you are connected in some ways. And so I just appreciate you. I want to thank you so much for being one of the most off the chain mods that I have. A lot of times people will miss certain stuff where people are saying something, but not you. People will be saying stuff in the chat and you will have already corrected some things, even some other channels that I've seen you get at other people before the host gets at them. And so I want to thank you for being a great mod. I have some very strong mods. There will be no more mods added after this, because I believe that the people that the Father gave me to turn into mods were people that he wanted to be here to do their thing, because they're very astute, they're very smart. I say this every time, you as well as everybody else in the chat, this is one of the most brilliant group of individuals that I have ever seen in a live chat room. And I'm just honored that I can be a part of what you guys have going on. But I want to thank you again, kind sir. I want to thank you for being who you are. I want to thank you for being a very good, I'm going to interview you. You keep telling me I ain't. You keep trying to get away, but you don't understand. Inquiring minds want to know. You done said a lot of stuff out there in them YouTube streets, and I'm going to have to get some info. I don't know where you think you're going, but I may go head on and hook you up tonight. May go head on, sit you down in the chair and say, caller, you say what? Have people ask some stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I'm kind of shy, to be honest with you. I'm like, me.
We can't tell.
I'm just shy.
We can't tell.
But I just want to say, I just want to say in closing, I do see actually you and Black Spring with Autumn as damn near kindred spirits, and I'm glad that I was able to help. I think that I came on YouTube in July of 2018, and I did a video the other day. My mission statements essentially was to spread positivity where I can, and if I can help connect people and things of that nature, I'm all for it, So that's just what I'm on. And it's real funny that you will have such a relationship with veritable strangers deeper than your own family. I'm still looking into that phenomenon, but it just seems like you have such an affinity for people you've never walked a day with. I did get a chance to meet live SF Rose and TR, I don't know too many people on YouTube able to make that claim, but I know I did. But even if I didn't, it just seems that you have such an affinity for people you have never walked a day with. I don't understand it. I don't know why that is, but it seems to work really well. So you just keep pushing. I'm proud of you, and onward and upward, as they say.
Thank you, kind sir. Thank you so much. You guys, you all know Derrick. Derrick is he's like the big brother. And wait a minute. I'm not sure if I ever said it. I love to watch his lives. Disabled Vet, how are you again? I love his lives, but the best live I think I have seen was you when you was back home 2 weeks ago with that dog. We sat there, we were in Biloxi, and child, when I tell you I was hollering, I said, he said, that's a big old dog.
The dog's head was that big. Yeah, I want no business. I said, nah, to get bit or attack live from the dog wouldn't have been a good look. I know it would have went viral, but that ain't a good look. So, you know. So at any rate, I want to thank you for having me on Black Screen with Autumn. Always a pleasure to see you. I respect you like no other, and thank you for what you do when I go live every Saturday, man. You consistent. Got to love you for that, man. You without question, you are my best moderator on my channel.
Well, it's to me, it's can I say quid pro quo.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
We're just giving back. We're just, it's just a matter of it. I think it's energy, and I tell you all the time, what an inspiration you are, and I think it's natural. I don't think it's something that's I don't think it's contrived. I don't think it's a front. I don't think it's I don't think it's fake. I think it's genuine, and I just think it's just you're walking in your purest form, in your natural form, and please don't change.
Yeah, well, I was being that I have you here now. I did a video a few days ago where I tagged you and Triumphant Tiff, and I'm just, I mean, I have to say thank you, obviously, but I'm just like, I don't understand this whole thing about inspiring anybody. Again, I'm not I just barely graduated high school, did my little 5 years in the Navy, and that's it. I mean, I ain't did nothing special. And so for, again, people that you've never met to say that you inspire, I said in that video, that's a hell of a burden. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I said. I just be Derrick. That's me. If I wasn't on YouTube, I still would kick it like this. I just be outside. I just be outside.
Well, I think it's I just keep inspiring is what I say. It's not. It's I think it comes from it's a natural source. I don't think you're gassing anyone up. I don't think you need, it's not necessary. It's not required for you. You have your own, you're walking in you're walking it. You're walking in, you're organic. And to me, that's not something that you can buy, that you can, I don't even think it's not even something that you can learn. And that's the musician, the artist in me says that if I believe it, it's the goal to get what's either here or what's in here out there. But you're doing that with, I think, with just about everything you touch. So kudos and cheers to you for that.
I agree with her. Everything she said, I agree with. Thank you so much for tuning in with us this evening. Please, if you can, stick around in the chat. We're going to take about maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that are going on right now that I think we should talk about. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're all going to be off here early tonight. We ain't going to be doing no more three, not tonight. Because I know we appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks,
so I'm so glad that you're here. I mean, we're not gonna hang out too much longer. We're at that hour mark right now. I know that last week Rachel could not come in the chat, and I'm not sure if she can come. If she can come on the show tonight. But I would just like to talk to her because Rachel has got some good information. Not sure if she, wants to talk about it, because we're segueing now from the woo great party stuff. We're gonna get down to some get down right now. So I'm not sure if she can come on and share that. I'm not sure if she wants to or not, but yeah, we need to see if she's interested. So until she decides whether or not she's going to do it, how have you been and what's been going on? And tell me, oh, you can? Good. Good. I want you to tell me how you are. I want you to tell me what's going on and what has amazed you lately.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to speak a little, as they say, I want to speak a little simply and a little, I want to be a little candid if I can. I'm hanging around. I'm doing well enough. And I'm happy to be here.
And I'm happy you're here.
So, and what I want to say is what I'm going to make a comment, what I'm going to opine about is something that has happened, and it's not something that I'm surprised. I'm not surprised about it. I actually I have some type of empathy that I would like, that I don't know how to sometimes, you might have a feeling, or you might have something that's concerning to you, but you don't really know where to put that. You know what I mean? You may not know where, you don't want to store it, hold on to it and too long. But I just want to get to what I'm saying. Of course, there's a ton of things happening in our world, in our country, with people we love, people that we care about. And this week was no different. But I can say that this is something that I ended on, or I landed on. And it was, and I don't support this particular group by any stretch. And I think that that's a lot of that's ironically, part of the issue here. But there's been a lot of things going on, and this issue is with the BLM. The BLM, I think that there's been a bit of a double down on whatever they're probably considering it some type of disenfranchisement. But I'm just thinking, I think many of us, we know better. We know better than that. We've had some level of discernment throughout this entire the election cycle, and we also had it prior to that, because but I'm saying that there has been a meeting, apparently, that Joe Biden actually hosted, was the speaker of his own meeting or whatnot, and there were members of the Black community. Now they were dubbed or coined civil rights leaders in the media. The mainstream gave them that, donned them with those titles. But I think these were just, they were influential. I'm sure they have their own, backgrounds, or they probably have formidable backgrounds, but I would not ever coin them as, civil rights leaders. I think that people, they try to ride that wave and they virtue signal a little bit too much on that, and it's a little bit disingenuous. But I just think
they've also connected themselves to, the BLM has, to calling on their ancestors, witchcraft.
Touche. I'm saying we're seeing more and more of that, and it's not. I've seen like a couple of other instances, like earlier on. Like, what is this? I don't know anything about black magic. I don't purport to know that life or any involvement with that. But then
and that's what they depend on. They depend on people not knowing the roots of what they're connected to.
That's very interesting, because what is it? The say your name. That was my first notion.
That is a black magic.
Okay. And
what do you want to call it?
Well, the type of magic that it is actually a string of it's a piece of voodoo, and a lot of them are attached to oh goodness gracious, I don't even want to say the name on my channel, but it is a string of a part of voodoo, and it is very, very dark, of this particular piece of voodoo, and it really works. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that they have been casting seances and spells on this nation for ages, but most importantly over the past few years, and it got increasingly worse over the past couple of months, as we were getting closer to the time that we were going into the election.
And to stay away from being called, what do you want to call it, white supremacist?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that the whole white supremacy thing is something that they just used to create the division. That was causing the divisiveness. And the truth about it is that, I got a problem with idiots. I don't have a problem with people who are white, people who are Hispanic, people who are Asian. I got a problem with idiots. So if you're an idiot and you treat me crazy, I'm going to get away from you. So I'm saying that to say, I haven't really bought into the whole we're having a major issue and it's all race and it's all this. All of the things that were done were fashioned specifically to take over our country because they needed all of the statues out of the way so they could erect their own later. They needed all of the former civil rights issue people who had those to be out of the way so they could create their own history and their own issues as it relates to their civil rights idea. So all of this stuff was done specifically to remove the history from this plot of land. Anytime you've ever looked at anybody that takes over a country or that takes over a region, please don't do that. Takes over a country or a region. I'm sorry, you guys. You will always find that they have always removed everything that had anything to do with the old people or the old country. Every time you can look at it when they did that to Iraq. When they went in there and they got him out of there, what did they do? They pulled down statues. They they did all kinds of crazy things. Everything that they did with Gaddafi, they went through there, took out statues, took all the gold. And we already know we didn't have no gold, but all of a sudden we got some gold. But I'm gonna leave that right there. So it's what they needed to do to take over our country. And as I look at it, again, you guys know how I feel about the whole Trump thing. But I was very hopeful that what was going on with Texas, because of our Constitution, would have worked. Let me say this. I do believe that there needs to be, and I could sound crazy to some, but frankly, I wouldn't mind if I was a Texan to see everything sort of break up a little bit. I think Texas needs to go back and become its own sovereign nation again, because we're no longer what we thought we were. That's the elephant in the room. We're not talking about the fact that now we are most assuredly a corporation and have been for quite some time. So we are looking for a constitution, and they're trying to look like, we don't want to tell them, but that ain't even our document anymore. It's not. It's not.
No. You're absolutely right. That is the elephant in the room. And I think we have quite a few, but that's one of the ones, that to me, that's one of the an eminent one that's really like just kind of in your face every week.
They made us all slaves.
Yes. And that's the thing. Hello to my brother, Disabled Vets Perspective. I love you. I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you for joining the stream. This is an appropriate conversation to have with him here. And I know everybody knows who he is. I know that. But that is exactly right. That's why they're doing what they're doing, because we're not addressing what's the real deal. And the real deal is they're not functioning under that Constitution. Everybody keeps saying, how can they do this? What about, because they're not functioning under that, and they understand. Hello, doggy. They understand. That's a cutie pie. Need to come stay over here with me. So they understand that while they're doing what they're doing it because legally, in their minds, they have the legal right to act the way that they are.
Yeah, because they don't consider us humans. We're citizens. We're persons. We're owned.
We're products.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You
we
are
make
actually
them
a
money.
product of the corporation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, in your name and everybody's name that is watching this right now, you actually have a trust in your name. And when you die, the trust that has been built up in your name gets turned over to the corporation. So it's actually, there's a profit margin in dying for your country. So
to the Vatican.
Well, yeah, but it's also to the big bankers, because they take out that trust in your name.
Who runs the big bankers? Is it not the Vatican?
It actually goes further than that. Real quick, I just want to say, Felicia, love you, baby. I can't believe you have made your 4,000. It's a great deal. You are awesome. I've known you now for, close to a year, and I'm just thrilled to death for you. Yeah, I think it's so cool. But
I appreciate
wanted to say that real quick before I finished my statement there.
Hug your wife for me. Make sure you hug your wife. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take us off the screen right quick, and I'm going to give you the floor so that you can explain what it is you want to explain. And that way everybody can hear, because those nuggets that I talk about all the time, when Rachel kicks back nuggets, Black, I want everybody to hear the nuggets. So I'm going to take myself off, and we're going to let you go ahead and.
Okay. Wow. I'm up here all alone. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, all right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Disabled Vets Perspective. I'm Alex. What I wanted to crash the party real quick because they were speaking things that are right up my alimentary canal. Kind of painful if you think about it. But the subject of the corporation, the reason that we are fighting a system that doesn't seem to be working for us is because it's a system that was designed not to have anything to do with us. We are merely a product of the corporation. The corporation was established in 1871 with just a simple signature. No ratification of the Constitution was done. Amendments were removed and some were modified. And all of this stuff is verifiable fact. It's absolute truth. And the reason we went into corporate status, there are two things that they say caused that. One of them, they say it was an excuse to bring slavery into the populace. But that one is, it's confusing, but it's also kind of not true. What happened was, after the Civil War, this country was broke. And the entire time, even during the Civil War, the British were trying to get back control of this country. They were sending in soldiers to help with opposing sides. The same concept as World War II, they were financing both sides of the war because it was in their best interest to make the war drag out. And what happened was, because of that war dragging out, the country went broke. It was our first bankruptcy after the Civil War. And an agreement was made with the royals at that time that if they came to bail us out financially, that we would have to go back under the rule of the Queen. And that was agreed to behind closed doors. And a word was changed on the Constitution that took us from a sovereign nation to a corporation. And at that time, we went under the rule of the Queen. If you look at the American flags that are in courthouses nowadays, that orange fringe, that's garbage. If you want to burn a flag, that's the one you burn, because that means that we are still under the control of the British. We are a subservient nation to the crown. And, that is the reason also that every time you hear somebody breaking laws, they get away with it, because these people that break these laws have already become sovereign citizens, and there's a process. But what they haven't done is they haven't been going against the corporation, which is technically, it's maritime law. That's the law of the sea, and that was what was created by the crown. So, I could literally go on for an hour or more explaining all of this, but this is Felicia's night. This is her celebration of success.
No.
So I don't want to go too far. It's just I couldn't help myself.
Go as far as you need to go. I defer to you because truth is needed. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, all right. So under maritime law, and it's basically, the translation is corporate law. The reason they can get away with unconstitutional laws is because there's a difference between legal and lawful. It is illegal in many cases what they bring forward because it goes against the Constitution. But the Constitution has been basically tabled since 1871. So what they are doing is lawful. And the easiest way to think about it is, if you work for a corporation and they say, okay, well, we're going to hire you, but you need to cut your hair off. That's the rules of our corporation. Well, if you want to work in that corporation, you have to cut your hair off. So that is a corporate law. And that's what's happening with our country. We have these, you notice that they're very careful not to call things law except for verbally. They call them law in using their language, but anything that's written down it's actually an edict, it's an article, it's an amendment. I mean, they've got several ways they can write these things down because they can't be legal under the Constitution. They can only be lawful under the corporation. So if they were to actually use the word law in their corporate rules, then it would go against their own corporation. It would bring them into a different area of the court, and they would be subject to the rules and the regulations under the Constitution. So language is, you got to be very careful with it. And they are. That's why they know what they can say, but they also know what they can do. And usually what they say never lines up with what they do on paper. All of this stuff it's done by design. And when I was saying that you are actually a product, if you look at your birth certificate and your social security number, the emphasis is never on the name of the person that is born. It's always the number of the certificate, because that becomes your stock number, and you are traded on the commodities and exchanges using a stock number. And once you kick the bucket, then you will have a trust that's in your name. And I'm almost 50 years old, so mine is probably well over $1 million now. And when I kick the bucket, they get their money submitted to them from the trust. It goes to the bankers. It goes to the Federal Reserve. And that's why there's no benefit in keeping you well and healthy. They don't want people to live to be 120 years old. And for those of you who read the Bible and understand it, you might realize that there are some people described in the Bible that are very, very old. Is there a reason why we don't live past 87 from, I think 87 for a female and 76 for a male? It's pretty much by design, because if we lived to be 120, 130 years old, those bankers would have to wait an awful long time for that trust money to be available. So there's a lot of dark and devious things that happen. There's a lot of poisoning that takes place. There's a lot of inhuman things that take place, and it is all designed around the corporation. What we have to do is we have to dissolve the corporation. We have to reinstate the Constitution, removing the title that has been placed on there for corporate law, and bring us back to a sovereign nation. There's some options, but right now we need to stay focused on keeping the nation intact until we can move forward with the thing called Nasera, which is what will bring us back under the Constitution. But right now, what we're facing is a pretty dark time. And if we go into the subject about the president right now, there's still one more avenue before we have to go using the military option. Absolutely. And that is if the people in the state senates can have the fortitude to move forward and put their electors into DC according to the actual lawful election, then there's still a chance that the Electoral College will all vote unanimously for President Trump. But if they don't, then what we have is the corporation attacking the sovereigns, and that's when it becomes a military issue, and that's when the patriots also have to stand up. But I think that's enough to bend the brain right now. But maybe we could do a show and get into this a little deeper.
I think we should go ahead and put a pencil in a date for that yesterday. We need to have that as soon as possible. We were talking about having another show after Lee and myself chatted, a little over a year ago, and we should definitely try to do that. But you mentioned Nasara. Wasn't that supposed to be Chef Disaster and Jason Buchanan? Hello, as well. Excuse me. Wasn't that supposed to be the day that the towers sort of fell down? Wasn't that supposed
The
to
day
be
after.
announced? Okay, it was supposed to be announced the day after. So let me ask this
Right.
question: if it was already put into, on paper, and it was just a matter of announcing it, why can't we? I don't understand why it can't be done. Is it because it needed to be announced?
No, certain things have to be in order. You can't just turn on Nasera and then hope for the best. One of the key things is you have to bring world peace, because if there's still massive conflict, then Nasera and Jessera don't work. So if you've noticed right now, the peace that's happening in the Middle East, it's pretty epic. There's
Wow.
things are quieting down, and also programs for the seniors. I believe it's number 2 on Nasera, is that the seniors will be brought into a better existence financially, medically, and everything. So you can see that there are things like the reduction in pharmaceuticals is happening. He's bringing those prices down. He's moving forward with senior care programs. Little things that happen in the background that never get seen by the media are actually going on. And right now we have a new currency being printed on Indian reservations, because Indian reservations are still sovereign land. They don't belong to the corporation.
Well, I think you and I had this conversation the last time we did talk, and what I was and still am very disturbed about is being that, my family we're Cherokee and we're Creek, and we don't have a right to even say who we are. We have to live with this stigma of what they stick on us. And if we wanted to go where, where our old land was that was stolen, it's just a hot mess. So I think there's a lot of reckoning that our country has to do on so many levels. And I really don't even know how we can unravel any of this now. As far as he is concerned, I don't want to talk about him tonight. I only want to say that what I'm a little disturbed with, and I know I'm gonna let Rachel go on in, because I can see Rachel got her ink pen. And when you got when you're talking to somebody, you see them and they got an ink pen, everybody sort of steps back in the classroom and say, oh, well, wait a minute. She got her ink pen, man. Be quiet, be quiet. So she got her ink pen. So for me right now, where he is concerned, I'm just a little disgusted. I was disgusted last night when I went live, and I made the comment that I did about the whole, why did we even need another? Well, now I know why. Ronnie and I were talking, and we know why we needed another executive order dealing with Israel. And then also, I know why we had to have the whole executive order with the AI, because that's what has to happen, because it's a part of the plan. It's a part of the end game. Rachel, what were you going to say? I see you got your ink pen.
I watched a segment of a show that involved the corporate law, the corporation, the Constitution, and they said that the people who deliver the mail, the person responsible for delivering the mail, the post office, that they had already taken over who was responsible for making sure that we were under the Constitution versus under corporate law.
Okay, break that down for me.
It's kind of hard too, because I didn't quite understand it myself.
Disable? You get it? Do you know what she's talking about?
Well, I do. In 1999, we actually paid off our bankruptcy to the Crown, but because everybody was continuing to be pretty comfortable with the way things were, they wanted to keep it the same. So at that time, we technically went back to constitutional law, but they didn't change our lives. They only changed the liabilities of certain groups within our government. And
And this man was attacked. I would have to find it again, but this man was attacked, and it was made very clear to him that he was in jeopardy. But it was made clear that our Constitution came back in line.
Okay.
But
So-
nobody else knew.
So the guy that was attacked, he was an actual postal delivery worker. He wasn't the U.S. postal master, postal general guy, right? He wasn't like the head guy. This was just a guy that was on his job.
He was like, and I so don't know my terms, but somehow he made sure the Constitution came back in line.
That's
are
possibly
you
right.
referring to the?
Go
Are you
ahead.
referring to the recent vote? Because
No.
of the Constitution being used now, or is this earlier?
This was earlier. I would have to find this again and re-listen to him and post it to Miss Lockhart's to her website.
Here,
or
I'm going to
to her YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it back here again because I know that Melinda was trying to get my email address, and I'm just gonna put it in here right now, and that way you guys can find it and you can put as much info as you want.
But he was also saying that it wouldn't make a difference unless people actually acted on it.
And that's the truth. None of
Yeah.
these things make a difference unless we can corporately work on it together.
Well, here's a little trick that a lot of people don't know about, and it's pretty simple. When you go into court, when the judge asks a person, "Do you have somebody to represent you?" What they are actually saying, and again, it was what I was mentioning about being careful with your words. They don't want somebody to represent you. They want somebody to represent you, because when you walk into that courtroom, you are an American. When you submit and be represented to the court, that's when you go back under product. So
What's a play on
if they say-
words?
right.
Yeah.
So when they say you have somebody to represent you in court, you say, "No, Your Honor, I will present myself to the court." And you present yourself as an American. My name is Alexander, and I'm an American. And
Just like
in my
you
defense,
don't ever say you understand because you're under them.
Well, you are under a stand if you look at how high the bench is from us, and the cat that's at the bench is a magistrate at best, who has not even
Right,
any. He can't deal with me, right?
right. Well, here's another little thing that a lot of people don't realize is when somebody says, "I passed the bar exam," the first thing I say is, "Oh, okay, well, you've become a banister for the Queen." And they say, No, I passed the bar. I'm a lawyer." And I say, "What do you think the bar means?" And they say, "Oh, well, it means that you passed and you can practice law." Well, it doesn't. It means British Accreditation Registry. You have become a magistrate for the Queen, and you are now practicing the maritime corporate law as opposed to constitutional law. So that is also something in NESARA that changes. All judges will be forced to go back under constitutional law, even if that means a complete re-education so that they can understand the constitutional law. Because right now, if you know the Constitution and you know how to word yourself in a situation when you might end up before a judge, you have the ability to put yourself in a different bracket. Like, I present myself to the court. That's a good one right there to make sure you know. And the other one is that you can write yourself an affidavit and submit it to the court that you're requesting to see the person that you have harmed in the act of your crime. Because if there's no injured party, or you have not stolen or removed property from somebody else against their will, then it's a victimless crime, and it becomes an extortion at that point, because they are looking to take money from you because they're trying to fine you as a corporate subject under the corporate law. And there's our silence. But anyway,
You would say that.
I don't need to keep running off with your show.
No, you don't even have to worry. You know what? This is like a classroom for us when we all come here. You know, I can't. I sit here and I wait with bated breath to hear what everybody has to bring, because to me, you know, iron sharpens iron. Hey, Mr. Vanzile. Hey, Mr. Vanzile. But iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're here for as long as we can. That's what I said last week. Hey, as long as we can, as long as I can talk about it, let's talk about it. Because I feel like there's somebody who's going to hear something that can help them. You know, there's so many people, black and white, that are railroaded every single day in the courts. I can't, you know, and here's the sad part. They try to make it a black thing, but it's not. I know a lot of people who have been not represented correctly, or, you know, it's amazing to me how you can go into a court and you see this big circus going on. You got the guy who works for the state, but he is your representative if you can't afford an attorney, but he goes to lunch with the same guy on the other side. So they get together and start making deals, and the deal they make is really just to clear their caseload and to just keep it pushing, you know, get another worker in the prison system and just keep going. And that's why I was so upset when I saw all of the stuff that they were doing as it related to, you know, pulling it it made me angry when I saw how they only use us to show black people or people of color. I hate to say people of color because I'm not a woman of color. I'm a Native American woman. But what I do not like is I don't like how they use us as a means to push this narrative of inequality when you're really just using us right now so that you can move us out the way and put in this next quasi victim that you've created, the trans, and then the bi, and then the this, and then the that. And, you know, it's like, you know, in a minute you're going to be, and hey, let me say this. I said several years ago when they refused to make the White House red, white, and blue, but they turned it into the rainbow. I said, you know what? In a minute, it's going to be legal to marry your dog, and they're going to lower the age of getting married for children, and it's going to lower, and it sure did happen. Then, you know what I mean? So right now, this is the most corrupt and the most demonic. But what we need to know is how we can collectively come together to bring about the restoration of what we need. And that's why I said, when I saw what they did in Texas the Supreme Court, I thought to myself, yeah, if I was Texas, I'd go on ahead and just secede, frankly.
You realize
personally,
Texas doesn't even have to ask permission.
Well, is that because they were a country at one time? Disabled vet? Why is that?
When they joined the union, they had a clause, and that clause allows them to become sovereign from the United States without question at any time. They voluntarily exist as one of the United States, and it's all written out in the clause that allowed them to join the union. They don't have to ask permission. They don't have to do paperwork. They just have to tell the government, we're done. And that's it. They're the only state in the union that is in that position. So they also have one of the largest economies. I don't know. No. Yeah. I think that a lot of it is that the same fear tactics that are used on the general populace are used in these legislatures. They fear them into thinking you can't do this, you can't do that. But then only has to be the right person that stands up and says, well, yeah, I think we're going to do that today. And there's nothing that the government can do about it.
Wow. Well, let me give Rachel a couple of seconds here to tell us some of the points that she has with the ink pen.
Oh no. I was trying to remember what I had heard about the gentleman that had basically taken over and made the Constitution come back into play through our what do you call it? Through our oh my goodness, I can't remember what it's called.
So what he did
Our
was
postal system.
which is the reason, and
Our
that's why
postal system is more powerful than we think they are.
well, it's the first organization. It's the first arm, really, of the United States. You know,
but he had come in and he had taken over.
So you're talking about the Postmaster General.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about the Postmaster General. So
yeah,
the Postmaster
and he had come in and he had made it constitutional again. But he said, unless people take notice and take advantage of this, it won't stick. It won't stick.
Wow. Black Spring, do you know anything about that?
I mean, I can find it again.
Find it again. Let me hear what Black Spring got to say. You're not familiar with it?
I'm not. No, other than the post office and.
I mean, they had beat him up and everything.
Physically assaulted the guy.
Oh yeah.
How old was the video? Do you remember, Rachel?
Not even a year old.
What? So is that the newest?
I think I do know what's going on then.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about it.
I'm pretty sure I know what's going on because they knew that this vote was coming up. That's why the president put in a new postmaster general, because he needed to get somebody who was an ally. And the reason that the post office is allowed to go back under constitutional law sort of independently is for the same reason you talked about. They are one of the original government,
arms of government
unity entities. But the reason they went up back under constitutional law is because under corporate law, there would be very little regulation on what you can do with these ballots, like bringing them in by the truckload from New York to Pennsylvania. Under corporate law, they would say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But it absolutely is against constitutional law. So it's
and it had to
benefit.
be done in a very specific place too, like DC or
something like Delaware, maybe.
A very specific place, a very specific building.
Okay, and he did that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it had to do with this particular election, so that they can prosecute under constitutional law under the Sedition Act. So
okay.
That makes sense now.
Yes, it does make sense now. Well, you know, that's the reason why it is so very important for us to pray for our country. Because, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And then there's a lot of backdoor deals that are going on that we don't know anything about. And that's the reason why, you know, I look at the 14th of December as a really, that to me, the 14th of December is going to put a nail in this whole thing. And I know that it could go on beyond January, but I really feel like 14th of December is going to put a nail in this thing. Because if the Supreme Court could not get the cojones to at least read the document, even though, you know what I'm saying, I'm not really for the cat, but at least try to keep, you know, like we know now, but the Constitution intact. My thought process was, well, gee whiz, at least let them hear it. But no, they didn't want to do any of that. They let that go. So I don't know who is threatening whom, or if there are any threats necessary, or if they're behaving the way they are because they know what they know. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even want to be humane. They're just animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just so you know, the 14th is not a date of any significance other than an edict that was brought forward by the Congress, which it doesn't have any standing in the Constitution. Wow. The only date that's specifically mentioned in the Constitution is the 20th of January at 12 noon. So any of these other dates are just talking points for the media. They have no significance in the decision of the election. Mm-hmm. So just don't let that part worry you too much. They're going to try to scream that the 14th is it and we all lose, but that's not the case.
You know, I'm like, oh God, I don't know. You guys take it. Somebody take it. I can't even. Jesus, take the wheel.
When I find that video, Felicia, I will send it to you.
I will
Good.
go to work tonight.
Good. Well, I'm sure you will, Mr. Vanzile.
I'll
I'm
be
sure
up all night.
Why don't he ever get on the camera, Rachel?
Because he's a wild beast.
You gotta keep the animal in his cage.
I got a face for radio, and I'm on this thing. Come on.
Wait a minute. Can we see what he looks like?
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
see. Come on here.
I have no hair, but
Me either, girl. I had to
he's
start all over.
kind of wild looking.
Hello, he's not that wild looking. Hello. How are you?
Good.
Good to
Good.
see you.
Yes, good to see you.
guys.
Yes, it's good to see you. Whenever and you guys can always tell when and let me just come off the screen for a second, but you could always tell when my nerves are pulling or whatever, because you will see this you will definitely see the avatar because it comes and goes. Hello, Dennis the Great. I don't know whether you saw your name in lights on the video. I hope all of you guys saw your names in lights on the video that I made earlier today, because I really appreciate you all.
Thank you,
David,
Felicia. I saw that. Thank you so much.
David Harris, he saw his name in lights, and I love it. All of y'all, disabled bait, everybody. Whenever you guys see
We
this,
love you back. I'm going to go ahead and jump back out of here and jump back in the chat.
Go ahead, I'll get in the chat.
Black Spring, good to see you. Rachel, nice to meet you.
You too, sir.
Fun. This has been a hell of a good party.
I'm going to jump out of here.
Okay, girl, I'm going to release both of you all then. Let me hit you, and then I'll get you. You guys come back and see us anytime. Anytime. I just love it. But we're going to get out of here in a minute. Black Spring, what do you got to say? What say you? And what is the next movie, by the way, Soul Sister?
Well, I just say that I think we're at a huge precipice right now in terms of, the country. And I think for one, I've been just a little bit more nervous because I, just like you, Felicia, the 14th has been on my mind, and it just seems like it's taken quite a bit of time for the 14th to come around, but actually it seems like it's gone, oh wow, that's actually on Monday. So, it seems like it seemed like it was taking a long time, but then it's a whirlwind, and now we're practically, we're on the heels of, we're getting there very quickly. But I don't know. I'm just not really confident. I just think all bets are off, and I've taken my bets off of many things, even prior to the election, and what we're seeing, I think, what we're seeing through the courts, whether it's the lower courts, the Supreme Court, it just seems like we've just been, in some regards, whether you think you're conservative or whatever, a lot of people are still, they're still hanging on, and they're still gassed up on some level. But I just think that we're dealing with we're just dealing with so much corruption and so much infiltration. I just don't think, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure where this thing is going to go. I tend to focus more on what's happening. I'm looking at Davos. It's Davos daily rather than so much, because I just think it's just the cycle is so quick.
I know.
And it's such a disappointment. It's just such a disappointment. It's, I think this year overall, and I'm just not, we need a win somewhere. We need a win, but I'm not sure, Felicia. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people are, I think a lot of people are in the tank, and I think it was a plan. I think this was planned. This was not, this wasn't luck, or, I don't, and that's hard for me to say, but I just have to go with my gut. And, it's like the bipolar express. 1 minute you think it's going one way.
The bipolar express. You know what? Sandy Aaron just asked a pretty good question. What happens if he don't leave? They gonna drag him out. You mean what happens if things happen where he is allowed to stay? Because you out of here, Mr. Buchanan. I see you just put up one love. I mean, I think what she's trying to say is, if things happen and he's still there, it's only going, nothing is going to turn out right unless, of course, we get the opportunity to have things return to the way they're supposed to. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in office. If things don't go back the way that they're supposed to, and we don't take our rightful stance and our rightful place, we're going to have some issues. Dennis DeGray said, bipolar express. The bipolar express. Okay.
Where do we get off?
Hey, come on now. I'm with you, sister. Let's see. Leaf Desi has a statement. She says, God is winning. I see it here. And protests all over the world. We will hurt for a bit, but we will be okay. Amen. I agree with you, sister. We will be okay. We will be okay. Dennis DeGray says, amen, Lockhart. And then Sandy says, no, it doesn't matter. Anthony Van Zandt, how are you? It says, ours is late in latency at the gate and tearing the bell. We need see that many of us have the same adversity and the same solutions, as many are on the same team to discover the actual technocratic enemy. Brother Ronnie says, Felicia, maybe you should spill the beans on how all this relates to the timing of the event taking place in the winter solstice. How about you come spill the beans before we get off here? Because I think that it's amazing. I talked about it very little. I touched on it earlier, but I would love for you to spill the beans. If you feel the Spirit leading you to spill them, come on and spill the beans, because it's something. Two wings of the same bird. Yep. Spoiler alert. Yes, absolutely, Anthony. Absolutely. But it is. So Disabled Vet says after NASARA is activated, it will require a new election. In 160 days, the whole government will change. Does that have anything to do with possible them putting us under the martial law? I don't know. David says, is it Moloch Day for the owl lovers? It just might be, but the United States has become the biggest Molech nation on the face of the earth. We have more abortions than anybody. And R. Jones says, David, yep. And Dennis the Great says, hello. So, Missy, what do you have to say? We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm not sure if Ronnie, if you have your link, Ronnie, because you have a link that was sent to you. If you don't have your link, let us know and we'll hook you back up so you can spill the beans. But go on ahead before we get out of here. We've got a few more minutes. Go ahead, sis.
Well, I'm just, I guess my final thing to say would be that I'm going to keep my ear to the ground for next Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, which is the 14th. I will keep my ear to the ground on that, as well as the globalist. That seems to be, that's the 4IR and that kind of a bit. And yes, because I will tell you, I think that all of this whole confluence of all the things that are happening between the mocktails, the 14th, it's creating anxiety, Felicia. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you that that's my diversion. That's my diversion, because if I stay on it too long, it just gets to be, oh my gosh, what's next? And the Golden Coast, who knows?
Wow. Yeah, and I just understood that there was some things going on there in your Golden Coast area, there in the San Diego region, where they were talking about I think it was some type of breakout or outbreak or something happened out there. I should have listened to it, but I just heard something, and I don't know, but I was like, oh wow, that's what's going on. They have all kinds of stuff happening out there in San Diego. So that's not good. Oh, Potter's live right now. Okay,
Yes,
let's
right
okay,
now.
let's pull over to him, you guys. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna pull over to him. Excuse me, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him up. Let's see, Potter. We're gonna go ahead, just talk about something because this thing gonna go dead air. Do something. So that I can get this rolling. Oh, he's pissed. She says he's pissed. Oh my goodness. We don't want that. Actually, um, um, there we go. Okay, I got him. All right, let's see what he's got going on right now. There he is, live. All right, let's hear it. Go ahead and get it set up, you guys. All right.
So who brought the snacks again?
Alex Jones. Have you ever met in person? Not over the phone, not over Skype, but in person, face to face, eye to eye, this God that you worship by the name of Trump? I doubt it. And if you have, you weren't using any spiritual discernment whatsoever. God damn you, Trump. And God damn you, General Perna. And God damn all of those who are partaking in this attack on mankind. It starts Monday. General Perna says it's being distributed now. 100,000 people have already received it in the trials. Trials. The distribution starts Monday. The emergency use authorization, as you all should know, Trump ordered on pain of being fired from his job, the head of the FDA, that he had to authorize this vaccine on pain of being fired. That's called coercion, force. It's demonic. I'm not saying the guy in charge of the FDA is good, but this shows who Trump is. He is the devil incarnate. And I am angry. And if anybody wants to get upset at me for being angry, you're a fucking moron. They're coming for you. They're coming for your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. The Deagle.com said that they were going to reduce the American population to 100 million by 2025. How in the fuck do you think they're going to do that? You're looking at it.
Well, okay. Well, he's upset.
I am ashamed that a man wearing the uniform of the United States of America would lower himself, especially with 4 stars, lower himself to this disgusting, despicable level. Why should I be surprised? They're all in it for the military-industrial complex. He wouldn't be there if he had not made it through the Obama purges. I'm talking about General Perna. I don't know what to say anymore. We're at a place where they're forcing. I heard Tim Pool today talking about, and he's absolutely correct, that I don't think he understands who Trump really is. He's looking at it from a purely political point of view, that they're forcing Trump into a position where he'll have to declare himself a dictator and take the country by force because he doesn't want to be punished by the judicial system, not appropriately, but after his departure from office. Trump is going to seize power, and he's going to do it with the military. And it's coming. It's at your door. And he's using the COVID situation and the threat from China to do it. There is no leadership, and you and I know that, Roosevelt. There is no leadership. They're all against the people. They're all against humanity. They've all taken the oath to Lucifer and to the New World Order. I don't even trust Rand Paul anymore, if I ever did. They're coming for us, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to take out the health workers, the first responders, and the aged and the blacks first. And anybody else who drives up to their little place and says, oh, save me. I haven't got any symptoms. I don't have any fever. I don't have any runny nose. I don't have an itchy throat. I can breathe just fine, but give me the vaccine. Save me. Safety is what we see across this whole country. The preaching of safety. And they've been doing it since the seatbelt laws of the 1960s. Safety over liberty. Hi, Jesse. I'm sorry I'm so angry tonight, Jesse. I knew this was coming. I don't know why it hit me the way it did. But to see that fucking jerk, Perna, up there with his 4 stars and talking like a frickin' New York moron out of the ghetto, saying he's going to save the fucking country, he better get that goddamn vaccine first, the motherfucker. And all of his children and every person in his family. And Trump and Ivanka and all of them. But they won't. They won't because they know. They know. As Benjamin Franklin said, those who want safety and security over liberty will get neither. I ask God to condemn Trump and all of Fauci, Gates, all of them, all the way down to Perna, and everybody who forces this on the people. I ask God to condemn them to hell. And the sooner the better. Baruch atah Avenu melech haolam. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Vayirafa ha Avenu melech haolam et ha ami. Bahashemo kodesh et Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. I'm out. Do not take this vax. Do not get the test that rams that Q-tip back into your brain. It has nanotech and who God knows what else on it. Please have spiritual discernment. Please know what's going on here. The military movements that are taking place are not merely for COVID. You don't bring Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles and all the movements that we've seen at Nellis Air Force Base and other places out for the COVID logistical distribution. They're hitting us with something else at the same time. I don't know when it's going to hit. I don't know what form it's going to take. I think Trump's going to use it to seize power, to say that because we're at war, he's going to, and the military is apparently going along with it, at least the special forces and the Space Force, and maybe General Milley, I don't know. But this is how he's going to stay in the White House. It's right here. He doesn't need the Electoral College. He's not using it. He's going to declare that we're at war and that that there cannot be a change of power at this time. And he's going to stay.
Wow.
And he is not your friend. He is not your champion. He is not your savior. He is your executioner. Go read Daniel 11 and Revelation 13, 2 Thessalonians, and see. I don't know if he realizes he's evil or not. The scriptures don't really say that, but they do say that he's a narcissistic, sociopathic psychopath. And that's bad enough. I don't care if it's a good look for me or not. What do you mean it's not a good look for me? Are you crazy? Do you know what's coming down on you? You want to trust God, right? Oh, God will take care of it. Do you know why God's letting it happen? Because you let them kill 60 million babies, asshole.
Come on now, tell the truth.
I'm acting nuts. Fuck you. Because you're going to get fucked real soon and right where it really hurts. I am going to shut up. You people can all go to hell that are saying those things, every last one of you. You're going to see your kids die. Their eyes are going to roll back in their heads and they're going to stop breathing. Your wife's going to die of cancer. Are you out of your minds? You know who you people are that act like this? Have you had someone you really loved get killed in a horrible way because they wouldn't listen? Have you ever had that happen on the battlefield where somebody runs from you when you tell them not to? They run right into the fire. You know that my wife died of cancer in 2008? I know why.
Bless your heart.
She was targeted.
Bless your
You
heart.
goddamn bastards don't even know. Because I was outspoken. She was targeted. God damn it. And then I was fortunate enough to find another lady at one point. And she was out jogging one day. She had earphones in. She wasn't listening to the warnings around her. She was oblivious to the dangers because she had her ears stopped and her eyes blinded because she wasn't paying attention. Beautiful woman, absolutely gorgeous, good heart, good soul, and beautiful appearance. You know what happened to her because she wasn't paying attention? She ran across some railroad tracks. Didn't hear the train coming. They barely found enough pieces to put in her coffin. God damn you people that don't see what's coming. God damn you.
Well, you guys, as you can see, whoo, Colonel Potter is absolutely accurate. Absolutely I'm shaking deep inside because I'm gonna tell you guys something. This is how you really feel when you understand what's truly going on. And a person who is at the caliber and the level that he is and has been in the military and has been as high up as Colonel Potter has been, he understands the tactical things that are going on the streets right now. He understands and he sees and he knows. And so what I will say is, don't judge the man based on how he said what he said. Don't judge him at all. What we need to be doing is listening to what he had to say. My old mother-in-law used to say a long time ago, she used to say, it doesn't matter who brings truth. If they bring it, then you need to listen. And that's what I'm saying. You may not have liked the way in which he said what he said, but let me tell you something, baby. I have heard a whole lot worse. And I believe that we do need to heed what he said. Okay? All right? We need to heed what he said. We may not like it, but you know what? I guarantee you, if we begin to heed what that man just said, who poured out his guts, he just poured out his guts to us to basically say, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. To use his analogy, I'm not going to use the one with the train, but I will say this, that I would like to see the video, Teresa, you can put links in my chat because my chat allows links. If you can get that for me, Teresa, and put it, I'll go ahead and play it. But the deal is, what is going on is such a heinous act that he is trying to let you understand the severity. And let me just tell you that if your child was crossing the street and I was standing on the sidewalk and I saw the poor baby crossing the road, I really do not think you would care if I yelled and if I hollered, okay, and tried to get out there in the road to get him as fast as I could get him or her. I don't think you care what words I use to grab that attention. Okay? Okay? So that is what's the deal. Now, it looks as if we got a link here from, okay, I see. Everybody's putting it. My God, you guys, what just happened? Did this happen today or something? I'm going to have to come back on my other side and pull it. Do me a favor, please, Derrick. Can you send that link to me in WhatsApp so I can pull it? If I can pull it, then I can type it in. Wow. You know, you guys, these are y'all, we got to do something. Whether we got to all get offline, throw away our cell phones, pack up our kids and go somewhere, I don't know. But I'm telling you something. This man knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's talking about. So it was Channel 6 here in Philadelphia carried it. Oh, my Lord. Okay, thank you. I got you. Thank you so much, Derrick. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it in here now. You guys, can you take over Black Spring? Or no, Ronnie, because I know you wanted to share something. If you don't mind, come bringing yourself off mute, and then I'll go ahead and type it in. And as soon as I pull it up, then we can get back to watching the link. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. Ronnie, if you go ahead.
Yeah, the emergency use authorization was definitely executed and rolled out today. They went ahead and pushed it through last night. It was supposed to be effective yesterday, but for whatever reasons behind the scenes, it officially was mandated last night, and it is rolling out today, full-fledged. Now, how they execute it and bring it to fruition remains to be seen, but it definitely is going down. And what a poignant, super, super poignant segue into, the next phase of the conversation or what have you. Like he hit massive points, smack on the head. I mean, wow. And he's not, and the things that he was saying is clearly accurate. And I want to go down that road that he was speaking, he was like, he brought in the spiritual aspects of this physical realm, of the things that are happening in this physical realm. And the spiritual implications are astounding, and they are ever more pressing today and right now. And I'll just jump right in. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 tells you, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. They are claiming peace and safety. Potter said, I mean, what was he saying? He said he was quoting the one of the American founding fathers or what have you. He was saying what peace and security or safety and security, when you give that up, I'm paraphrasing, but when you give that up, there goes, or you give up freedom for that, pardon me. But of course you definitely always want to be free. But in the name of safety, we're giving up these things. And I'll read it again, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. We're not going to escape this thing if we are stuck in the midst of it. We have to see it. We have to step outside of the game, look at it with sober eyes, and see what is playing out. And the
Today
scriptures
is truly a historic day.
clearly let us
For
know.
7 months.
These scriptures clearly let us know the angle, the road that doesn't lead to sudden destruction, but leads to prosperity and leads to a covering that we are going to actually see true peace and safety.
Teresa says that the video she watched today was thank you, Father, was longer. So she has the link there that's longer. Derrick, on my side, I'm gonna go ahead and play this one, but Derrick, on my side, I can't pull that link from here. Would you be able to pull her link from me and send it to me? Can you do that, or can you do that, Black Spring? Anybody who can, please do. I'm gonna go ahead right now, and I'm going to play this right now. Here, let me go ahead and just go ahead there.
We have realized the greatest public-private partnership in modern times. Doctors, scientists, researchers, factory workers, logisticians, and hundreds more have all come together for a singular purpose. That purpose: save lives and end the pandemic. We checked our egos at the door. We worked collectively to solve the problem, and we have achieved success, as was identified last night by the FDA when they approved EUA of the Pfizer vaccine. Now we'll begin distribution of safe and effective vaccines to the American people. You have heard me refer to today as D-Day. Some people assumed that I meant day of distribution. In fact, D-Day in military designates the day the mission begins. D-Day was a pivotal turning point in World War II. It was the beginning of the end. D-Day was the beginning of the end, and that's where we are today. But make no mistake, it was not the end. Months and months of hard fought battles occurred, and it took diligence, courage, and strength to eventually achieve victory. But victory did come. And while this moment is extraordinary in time, and I'm proud to be here announcing where we are with distribution, we have a lot of work to do. We are not taking a victory lap. We know that the road ahead of us will be tough. We know that situations will occur, but we will figure it out together, collectively, whole of America approach to solve the problems. At the end of the day, we have an excellent plan that has been well coordinated, well synchronized, well rehearsed, and well collaborated with everybody from the total government through commercial industry down to through the governors at the states. I am very confident in it. With that said, those who plan for perfection, right, in their plan will not be successful. We have to be able to see ourselves at all times and be able to execute adjustments accordingly. So what happens next? My guidance was to ensure this precious commodity is received by the trained professionals at each state. We had to plan for the best outcome without knowing exactly when EUA would occur. When the decision occurred last night, we immediately went into action and implemented our hourly and now our D-Day sequence. We implemented a sliding scale that allows us to ensure that everything is in place, that people are positioned and ready accordingly. I expect the first shipments to arrive Monday morning. Of the sheer energy, the whole of America approach, I am absolutely 100% confident that we are going to distribute safely this precious commodity, this vaccine needed to defeat the enemy, COVID. Many of you want to know who will receive the first vaccine. And while I leave that up to the experts at the Health and Human Services organization, I remind you of this. Nearly 100,000 Americans have already rolled up their sleeves and participated in clinical trials across America. They were the true first recipients of the vaccine. They deserve our utmost respect and appreciation. Without them, we could not be here today. True American heroes. This is a monumental week for us all, as we distribute the first millions of doses of vaccines to the American people. But each week that follows, we will have more doses ready for allocation and distribution. We are also posturing for the phase in Moderna vaccine if they receive an EUA. This is about a steady cadence of delivery to bring the American people to a place of confidence that vaccine is coming. We want to ensure the vaccine arrives safely and that it can be effectively administered once arrival occurs. It is so important that all vaccine that's available is utilized as a shot in an arm and nothing is wasted. This is our sole focus every single day, every waking minute that we have. We know every day American lives are lost, more fall ill every day, more struggle with the circumstances of the pandemic. So while today we applaud everybody who's been a part of the team, part of the collaboration, part of the success that's brought us here today, we know that we are not done. We are not done until every American has access to the vaccine. To every American that wants it, receives it. This is our only goal. We work every day to achieve it. I ask all of us to be vigilant, to understand what we're doing, to collectively read about the vaccines, to make decisions about the vaccine and your use of it accordingly. I think it'll be a wonderful time as we deliver more vaccines every day and more people receive the vaccine. We'll be working it hard the next couple of days to ensure these first shipments go very well. It is the foundation for all future deliveries. I know you will have questions, so I commit to keep updates to you on a regular basis, starting with Monday morning as we go through an update on where we are operationally. I have 100% confidence that we will get the vaccines to the American people and that it will be safe and it will be secure when it arrives. So I want to say thanks to everybody for getting us here today.
Safe and secure.
Time to listen to my comments, and now I'm ready for some questions that you may have. Thank you.
Comes from John Cohen with Times Magazine. John, your line is open.
General Perna, thank you for doing this briefing. Many of us who report on this know that the White House pressured the FDA to issue the EUA last night and that it had planned to do it this morning. Does it make any difference to you in terms of the EUA being issued late last night versus this morning, and in terms of actually delivering vaccines?
No. As I alluded to in my comments, we developed a plan, a sliding scale, so to speak, so that when the vaccine became available through EUA, we were able to begin immediate implementation. So as of last night, when I got word, we immediately went into our hourly updates so that we were making sure we were postured for the first part of the morning's requirements. And then we had a checklist of things collectively from the organization here down through Pfizer, McKesson, that the vaccine arrives at a time period where people, the professionals, are available to receive it and then eventually administer it. So as a decision made and I adjusted the sliding scale hourly and daily, our ultimate goal was to get it there no later than Monday morning through distribution. So as I speak today, right now, vaccines are being packaged with a lot of emphasis on the quality assurance to that end. Tomorrow morning, vaccines will start rolling from manufacturing to distribution hubs. And then by Monday, vaccines will be received. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Elizabeth Weiss from USA Today. Elizabeth, your line is open.
Taking my call. Two quick questions. One, has any vaccine actually been pre-positioned, or is everything still happening at the Kalamazoo manufacturing facility? And the provider agreements that providers have signed ask them for receipt possibility times Monday through Friday. Does that mean that vaccine can't be delivered Saturdays and Sundays? Thank you.
So the first part, what was the first question? Oh, I'm sorry. So I had to just check your first question. So no vaccine was pre-positioned. We did not want to presume EUA. What we did, all of our rehearsals and our timing were dependent on EUA approval so that we could move out from there. Under no circumstances do we want to get ahead of the great FDA in that decision making. What's key is that we're ready to go now that the vaccine has been approved with EUA and wheels are in motion, and vaccine will be in place, as I said, as early as Monday. So your part two of your question is what we're going to do is we're going to have a steady cadence of delivery of vaccines, and it's a drumbeat. Allocations will be provided to states. The initial allocations were provided several weeks ago, and that's what we're operating off of for the initial distribution. Now, every night, allocations are allotted to states. They order, and vaccines will be going throughout the week to be delivered to everybody as long as you're a enrolled provider. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, there will be one question per reporter. Please, one question per reporter. Our next question comes from Katie Thomas with the New York Times. Katie, your line is open.
Hi, I'm wondering if in this first week shipment, 2.9 million will go out. How do you plan to reach the goal by the end of the year with only weeks left of reaching 20 million people?
So we work allocations based on what is actually available by the end of the week. Our calculations believe that we're going to have 40 million doses by the end of the month. So what we're doing is every week I get an update. I know exactly what has been approved by the FDA for final distribution. Those allocations are put into our Tiberius system. States allocate and tell us where they want us to distribute it to by location and by quantity. And then we execute through the great steady effort by Pfizer, McKesson, FedEx, and UPS. I feel confident that we can achieve the goal of what is available will be delivered to the American people. It's all dependent every week on the final approval of the vaccine availability by the FDA. So we stay in a rhythm to ensure we can meet that requirement, and we're working towards that. I'll have to tell you where we're at the end of the month. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Dan Vergano. Dan, your line is open.
Hi, Dan Vergano, BuzzFeed News. General Perner, I wondered if you could say anything about when the first doses will arrive at long-term care facilities versus for healthcare workers. Do you see one happening before the other? Thanks very much.
So as you know, we're working in support of the governors and the state's plans in execution. And we're delivering directly to the facilities where they have identified by the quantities they identified. I know for a fact, after speaking with many governors, myself personally, and then taking state briefs from all the states / regions, including the federal agencies, that they both are going to, many of them are going to simultaneously do frontline healthcare workers as well as long-term healthcare facilities. It is a matter of, allocation, and then how do they distribute accordingly so that they make sure that they take care of the term I would use is clumps in accordance with vaccine available. So the bluff is that numerous states have plans to do both simultaneously, and I think it could occur as early as the end of next week for sure. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Joyce Frieden at MedPage Today. Joyce, your line is open.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I at a hearing before the Senate discussing distribution of the vaccine, Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut asked about getting the vaccine to a Connecticut VA facility, and Wesley Wheeler from UPS said, yes, I believe we're assigned Connecticut, and we'll make sure it gets there. Are UPS and FedEx assigned to particular states?
So I don't know in that they're assigned to particular states. They're both running execution of vaccine through the equitable distribution of vaccines to all states, jurisdictions, and metropolitan cities. And so it is really about what requirements are and then how do they execute it. It's a great collaboration between UPS and FedEx, but there is no line in the United States that says FedEx has the East Coast or UPS has the West Coast, et cetera. It is about the operational execution of the vaccines that are available and the requirement each day as it occurs. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Tom Howell, Washington Times. Tom, your line is open.
Hi, thanks for doing the call. I know the states told you where to send the vaccines, the initial shipments. Can you just kind of paint the picture or give us a flavor of what these sites look like? Are they big warehouses with ultra-low freezers or places where vans will take them straight to smaller sites? Can you just, where are these boxes landing exactly?
So one of the reasons why we regulated the flow of the initial doses going out to America, because we do have capability and capacity to expand to pretty good volume. But one of the things that I wanted to ensure is that the vaccine initially on Monday goes directly into ultra cold freezer capability. So the locations accordingly vary everywhere from hospitals to major hubs for distribution following. It's directed by the states or planned by the states, and we execute to that end. Our goal ultimately is to make sure that we can deliver to all providers as the states identify. A matter of fact, I took a briefing this morning on the plan to achieve that, and we think as early as about 3 weeks from now, we can be delivering vaccines to all providers as directed by the states. For example, to the local pharmacies as they would like. All the pharmacies that I've taken briefings from have capability and capacity to do ultra cold or manage it, as well as distribute it. So I feel confident that as we do the initial shipments this week, and then hopefully following with the Moderna vaccine, we will begin to blossom expansion of delivery throughout the states to ensure greater access to the vaccine availability for everybody. Thank you.
Our next question comes from John Tazi with Bloomberg News. I'm sorry, John, your line is open.
Hi, thanks so much for taking the question. You said that Operation Warp Speed is withholding the second doses and an additional 500,000 supply for kind of an emergency reserve. What would make the government confident enough in the supply coming out of the manufacturers to change that calculation and potentially distribute more initial doses than, more than half of the kind of doses on hand?
So great question. So what we're doing is we've started manufacturing as early as, June, maybe even a little bit earlier in May, as we really started the steps, to get us to where we are today. It is a really incredibly arduous process that is well regulated for all the right reasons. But it was necessary to start that long ago to be here today. And as we start today, availability of vaccine for both Pfizer and Moderna is why we're able to begin distribution and receipt as early as Monday. The reason why we're holding on to the second dose as well as some reserve is that we don't have absolute confidence in the cadence, not because Pfizer or Moderna or the supporting manufacturers and fill finishes aren't diligent in their process, but it is such a delicate process. We want to ensure perfection in the vaccine. Because we don't want anything going into an arm that would be a problem. So we are being very diligent, and only after the vaccines are approved will I allocate doses accordingly. So your question, though, was when do I see that changing, holding second dose and reserve? First of all, reserve. Reserve is about being able to have flexibility, being able to be agile and adaptive to situations that occur, things that might happen in distribution as we go along execution. So I can immediately get things to where it needs to be so that everybody has fair and equitable execution to the American people. I see reserve dwindling down every day as we move forward. More confidence in execution, more confidence in administration and uptake, more confidence in the use, American people wanting the vaccine. My goal is to drive that down because we want no vaccines on a shelf. It doesn't matter how effective a vaccine is if it's on a shelf. We want all vaccines available in the arm. Holding the second dose is just until we have ultimate confidence and we've built up stocks to ensure that we can get the American people their second dose, right? The studies were based on second doses. The FDA approved EUA on a second dose. For me, it's a moral responsibility and obligation to make sure that second dose is available for the American people. And so what we've done is we've just held on to it. It's in our cadence for delivery. 21 days later for Pfizer and 28 days later for Moderna, and the vaccine will be distributed immediately out to locations as it was the first dose was administered. So
and
that's
28 days later from Moderna,
both
vaccine will be distributed immediately out.
And the second dose decisions, we'll get to more, we'll have more information over the next few weeks, somewhere middle January, middle February, I see a transition. Thank you.
2 more questions.
Our next question comes from Meg Terrell with CNBC. Meg, your line is open.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I'm wondering, we know realistically vaccines, when they get shipped around the world, there might be some spoilage. I'm just wondering what kinds of estimates that you guys have taken into account for, how much spoilage or loss of vaccine there might be as this goes out, and how that's affecting your predictions for how many Americans will be able to get vaccinated, right away.
So I will assure you, we have taken extreme precaution in execution and delivery of the vaccine. Early on in my decision-making on how to deliver a vaccine, this was a vulnerability identified, and the way to mitigate it was to bring in the ultimate professionals in execution. From Pfizer and Moderna through McKesson, and then with FedEx, UPS, and the major pharmacies. These organizations know how to distribute and store the vaccine prior to administration. This is not new to them. They've done ultra cold chain storage. They've done multiple shot execution. They know how to manage it and administer it in the most safe and effective way. So yes, do I think something is going to occur? I do. Hence the reason why I maintain some reserve stock so I could adjust and adapt and make sure the American people have access to the vaccine immediately or as soon as I can get it there. Can't get it there if I wish I had it. I needed to have it to make sure I could adapt to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our last question comes from Drew Armstrong with Bloomberg News. Drew, your line is open.
I'm wondering what commitments you all can make on the call today in terms of providing regular data updates on inventory and distribution as you work through the next several weeks, and making sure that those we get clear state and jurisdiction-based numbers for exactly how much vaccine is available and where it's going.
Yeah, so I assure you that the states and jurisdictions know exactly how much vaccine is available to them, what's been allocated, and how it's going to be distributed. I have 100% confidence in the transparency to that end. Vaccine becoming available every week, as I described earlier, is, we have estimates, but at the end of the day, it does not count until the FDA has approved it. And I will not allow those estimates to go forward for speculation, because I want people to focus on what is actually available, develop the plans, ensure that we're ready to administer it accordingly. We are going to share allocations of the jurisdictions next week initially, but I would tell everybody that the way we develop this system is we are not waiting for vaccines to batch up. We want a consistent flow of available, approved vaccine to be distributed to the American people as soon as it's available. So being able to manage and account for the numbers, right, as we go forward has to be very precise. And we've created a system to ensure that we can account for every number and that at the end of the day can be held accountable to any scrutiny to that end. So I just tell you, I'm confident in it. I will share allocations as we distributed this week, but we're going to build every week on allocations as we have things available and we distribute it. Thank you.
Wow. 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 Huh. Oh my God. Nothing, baby. I'm fine. I'm just responding to something I just watched in here. I am floored, ladies and gentlemen. I'm floored. Yep. I am floored. And to answer the question that came from Dennis, the reason why is because from a very long time ago, this has been stated that it would be sent out by the military in a very powerful way. That was stated by the seated president several months ago when he first started talking about how they were going to get out the vaccine. Rachel Vanzile says on the screen, I am legend, I am legion. Ronnie, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
So they're going to bring about safety and security through a vaccine that has not been approved by the FDA as of yet. However, it has been emergency use authorized and is in distribution mode. That's a very peculiar situation to find ourselves in.
Yes. Yes. And there are people who are of Hispanic descent, Black, African American, Native American, Indigenous, they've stated, is who they're really looking at. This whole entire thing is hinged on, just like the movie we saw last week that we did the review on, it's hinged on sterilization, it's hinged on people just drop dead, they really don't care. And I will go ahead and let you tie it all together, Ronnie. I will let you tie it all together. I'm going to get off the mic.
Okay, so it's just very interesting, and again, I will segue with that First Thessalonians 5:3 because I wanted to be on the forefront of our minds. First Thessalonians 5:3, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Why? It's really interesting that is tied in to the concept of a woman with child travailing and the time frame that this thing has been rolled out upon the American people at large. So it's very it's very telling if you understood what's going on with the quote unquote signs of the times and the things that are being conveyed and portrayed in the stars to be completely upfront. So these are the measures that are okay. So we just did a show the other day, an episode where we basically broke down when our Savior was born. Our Savior was born on the Feast of Trumpets, the 7th month of the biblical year. Keep that in mind as I continue to speak on the situation that we find ourselves in. So let's look at the stars. We know that the scripture tells us that the stars, the sun, the moon, and the stars are for signs, for seasons, for years, and for days. So when we actually look at them, we will know what time it is. When you have your older conscious cat, your older conscious brother on the street corner that tells you, hey, they ask you, you know what time it is? You don't know what time it is. They're not talking about the time that you see on your wristwatch. They're talking about what time it is, literally the time. And we are entering, we are clearly in that time. So if we look, there is a conjunction that is going to take place on December the 21st, which is the winter solstice. That conjunction is two planets aligning and forming a quote unquote superstar. in the sky that we're going to see is going to be super bright. It is Saturn and it is Jupiter. Look it up. This is important. That's why he tells us to be watchmen on the wall. We need to always be vigilant in knowing what time it is. So how does this tie in? This thing is happening with the military. There is hope. There is salvation. And it is coming forth at the exact same time. So while we're looking to Rome and while we're seeing all the dissatisfaction and the disarray of Rome, we're missing the peace and the true peace and safety. They're declaring peace and safety on their end, but what they have in store for us is destruction. And we already know through Black Spring with Autumn's conversation with the Lockhart perspective about utopia and the end game. The end game is what? The vaccine. And the vaccine is what?
Poison.
Sterilization.
Yeah.
Sterilization. So inadvertently, let's take this. This is biblical proportions. Let's take this and add this to the equation, because we already know that the enemy is not in the flesh. Our enemy is what? The high powers in high places, the dark spiritual powers in high places. Of course, that's a paraphrase.
Yes.
But you understand what's going on. This is what's going on. So when we take that and we tie it in, because the end times is prophetic, so we actually have to tie it in with the reality of, the state of reality that we live in. We have to tie it in. And when we see it, we see that there is a parallel going on. So December 21st, the winter solstice, there's going to be a star, there's going to be a superstar in the sky. This superstar in the sky is Saturn and Jupiter that's going to align. Now, mind you, very, very interesting. This thing, and you can look up the details because it's all over the news. And definitely on the back channels of the news, but you can look up the details. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail with that per se, but in parallel with the biblical aspect, you know that the wise men of Babylon saw a star in the sky. And so when I've done the research on that star, I've seen a lot of scholars and people that are in the know of those things, of those types of things. They were saying that there was a conjunction in the sky of two stars that were super bright, and that's what they saw. And they were able to, and they saw it a couple times. This is in 7 BC when they saw it. Kepler speculated that that was the star event or the celestial event that took place, which was in 7 BC, that caused the wise men of Babylon to know that there was a Messiah that was to be born. So moving forward, it's very interesting that there's the same type of constellation configuration that's in the stars on the winter solstice of this, which is what, next week, the December 21st coming up.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay. So when you see this, it happens when? December 21st.
December
Now,
21st.
mind you, we just went through the motions on figuring out when the Messiah is born, when his true birthday is, which is the 7th month, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. If you do a quick search for those who aren't in the know of the biblical feasts, look up the Feast of Tabernacles for 2021. The Feast of Tabernacles for 2021 starts September 20th, 2021. I'm here to announce and tell the 22 people that are watching currently, this is for you. December 21st, which is the winter solstice, which announces, 2,000 years ago, the birth of the Messiah, December 21st, 2020 to September 20th, 2021, which is the day, which is the beginning of the Feast of Tabernacles, is exactly to the day 9 months, which is a gestation period for labor. This is telling us the stars in the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars are here. Look in Genesis, it tells you that they're here to for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years. They're here to illustrate and let us know what is to play out on as it is in heaven on earth. And this is monumental. This is an amazing understanding. This is amazing insight and foresight to see right before our eyes the things that are playing out and are being portrayed in our sky. But if we continue to be entrenched in Rome and its ways, oh, look at us, wars and rumors of wars, man. Like a military general got up here and talked about vaccines, and he was using war rhetoric. This is wars and rumors of wars. And what was he constantly conveying? Peace and safety. Peace and safety. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them. Look at the parallel. As a woman travaileth with child, but they shall not escape.
Teach.
Why is there in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, why are they talking about peace and safety, but there's going to be sudden destruction? And then they give you the angle of a woman with child. That is very interesting. And if we are to believe that this word that is given to us is indeed, led and inspired by the set apart spirit, then we have to find the deeper nuances and connect the dots to see exactly what they're telling us. And if we look at the stars, that because the stars is the Most High's actual calendar, we're just under a construct of a Roman Gregorian calendar that we are entrenched in, and that it has usurped and replaced the actual calendar that is bold face in the sky. And when it parallels and conveys the message, we have to detach our brains from Rome to actually get down to the bottom of what it's saying. And I'll say it again, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, when they say peace and safety, and they're saying it right now. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine with a vaccine that the FDA has not even approved. Has even approved yet.
They haven't even approved.
We're going to but we're gonna, not to say that they won't, but I mean they're already rolling it out, and it's not as of this moment of live. So safety, they're claiming it, but when that happens, sudden destruction comes upon them, and then very interesting that they are paralleling it with the travail that is upon a woman with child, but they're not going to escape. But we are, because we have the insight to see. So help is on the way. Help is on the way, but we're so dismayed and disgruntled and quote unquote enchanted that we lose hope, and we forget all of the promises that are in this word. And if this word isn't for you, then it's not for you. But if it's for you, I'm talking to you. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Amen. Amen. I so appreciate that. It's all truth, and it is a warning. And of course, we all don't have to necessarily agree to what the word is that's been given. This is what I'm going to say. Let every man be a liar. Let God be true, and let every man be a liar. The word of God, the word of the Most High, is the truth. He gives messages to all of us. Okay? He gives messages to all of us. And I can say that if you've ever driven down the street and you say later after you got in a car crash, something told me to go the other way, he was talking then. So just remember something like that. But with this particular situation, you guys, this is the time that we really do have to seek him, because the answer is not in any human being. You can see that those who try to be over us, and I'm going to just use a phrase that Rachel used earlier because it was directly the truth. And that is that we are, we're chattel, we're slaves. Here, while we're here, we are. And these people feel as if they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want and treat us any kind of way. But if we realize that we are sojourners, we are on a journey here, and this is not our home. For those who have ears, let him hear, please. Let her hear right now. This is not our home. We do not belong to this system. We have declared that we have separated ourselves from this system and everything that it has to offer. We belong to the true and living God. We belong to him. Our souls belong to him. Our bodies, our spirits, we belong to him. Our lives are hid in him. He leads us. He is a lamp unto our footsteps. He guides us. Okay? That is all we need to focus on. Why? Because it goes back to what I said a couple of weeks ago. We don't have any physical power to change any of the things that we see, but God. But he does. He's got all power. That's who we lean on. We don't lean to our own understanding. We don't worry about the fear that comes at nighttime. We don't worry about the things that attempt to take us over. We don't worry about that. We give all of the things that worry us to him because he cares for us. It's not nice. No, none of it's pretty. No, it's not. It ain't pretty. But neither is any battle we've ever seen. So what are we going to do? Are we going to take up our weaponry? What does the word tell us to do? Do you got on your helmet? Do you got your breastplate of righteousness? What do you have? Do you take upon you the shield of faith wherewith you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one? Take it up. Where is it? Now it is time to pull up that word. We don't lose hope in the middle of a battle. We don't lose. We do not lose hope in the middle of a battle. We don't. Diane says there is no sound. Do you guys hear sound? No sound?
I hear you.
Okay.
I hope the people do.
Okay. Because here's what I want to tell you right now. There is only one hope that we have. For those of us who read the Bible, who can quote the scriptures, for those of us who know what the Bible tells us, I got a question. For real? Do you know for real? For real? Do you trust him for real? Do you listen to the people that tell you, yeah, I hear all of that, but we got to deal with the reality. Okay. You go on over there and you deal with that.
The reality and the spiritual go hand in hand.
I deal in the realm of the reality. I deal in the realm that I believe and know. I don't even believe. I know who he is. I know what he said. And because I know, I trust him. Pray. I say it all the time. People like to laugh. Keep laughing, and I'm going to keep on praying. And while I'm praying, he's covering me. Let's get it together, saints of God. Get it together. Pull up your weaponry. Pull up your shield of faith. Pull it up. These are the times that we have been warned about all of our walk. All of our walk. We already know what time it is. What did Ronnie say earlier? Man, you know what time it is? You know what time it is? Yeah, you know what time it is. So it is time for the people of the Most High to understand that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the ones who endure to the end. They shall be saved. Don't give up. Don't lay down. Don't cry in defeat. Fight. Use the word. Put him in remembrance of the word that he has given us. He loves it when we do that. You guys, I love all of you. Do not allow anything to take you off of what you know is the truth. Do not allow any of these things to get you so physically sick that you can't run when you need to. Hold on to your most precious faith and the one who promised you that he got you. Yeah, he got you. He got you. He got us. So Most High, we just thank you right now for this time of fellowship. We glorify you and we give you all praise for you being who you are. We thank you that you are real to us, and you alone, you and you alone are the Most High God. You are the creator of the universe, and we thank you. You created me. You knew who I was long before I ever visited my mother's womb, and I thank you. I thank you for life. I thank you for health. I thank you for truth. I thank you for sustenance. I thank you that you get all the glory for everything that happens in the lives of your children, and you alone will protect us. Your word declares that. We thank you that you have given your angels charge over us to protect us in all of our ways. Oh, so we thank you for Mikael. We thank you for Ariel. We thank you for Gabrielle. We thank you for all Raphael, Gabrielle, Ariel, Mikael, all of them. We thank you for all the angels that you've given. We activate them in our lives and at the front of our house, at the back of our house, inside of our car. Oh yeah, they're there. They're real. Who do you think Enoch was talking to and talking about? So we thank you right now, Father, for removing all fear, because you've not given us the spirit of fear, but a power of love and of a sound mind. So therefore, we will not think about anything that does not bring us the spirit of peace. You give us peace that surpasses all understanding. No man can understand how we can walk in peace in the middle of a battle, because we know that there ain't nobody on that battlefield like you. Who is like the Lord? He is strong and mighty, powerful in battle. Hey, ain't nobody like him. Nobody nowhere. Keep looking. You ain't gonna find nobody like him. Keep looking. You ain't gonna find nobody like him. Nowhere. Yes, he is my shield and my buckler. Yes. You guys, don't let this stuff bother y'all. He got us.
Hallelujah.
He got us. And just like the Hebrew boy said, hey, even if he don't, we ain't gonna bow down and serve you. Yeah, it's time. You guys, I love you all. I thank you guys for coming out here to celebrate with us this evening. It has been awesome. It is wonderful. These are exciting times. Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Do not have any fear. And I appreciate each and every one of you, Brother Ronnie. Thank you for being here. Sister Black Spring, thank you, thank you. And to everybody else who had the opportunity to come out and share with us this evening, I want to thank you guys, all of you, everyone that is in the chat right now. You are responsible for allowing this broadcast to go forth by helping me get to that 4,000 hours so that we can reach more people. I do not want the monetization. I do not want the money. What I need is the ability to do more. And that's what that does. It gives us the ability to reach more so that we can move out and spread out more. He is in control of this, not me. And I thank him because he is who he is. And that means that we're somebody special to him when he does things that mean something to us. Little things. It's the little things, right? So I praise him for each and every one of you because we did this together. It was a joint venture. It was not me. Hey, I can't take no credit for it. I am humbled by everything he does. Every little thing he gives me, I thank him because there's no power in me. And if it was righteousness, my righteousness is as of a filthy rag when you compare it to him. You guys take care, and we will see you very soon. I love all of you. Bye-bye. One thing I want to remind you guys, that the word declares to us that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High God. Thank you, guys. Night night.